Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mars coming at you with another StarCraft 2 cast. I am joined today by Felipe. How you doing, man?
I am doing pretty darn good today. Hopefully, assuming this game ends up being good, I will be doing even better.
I have my sights set not quite as high as that. If we get through this game and my computer doesn't crash, that will be good. For the watchers at home, we have over at the bottom right side of Belshire Vestige. Bloody hell, this is going to be a hard cast. And then he's got a name like that. MeyvN. This is
that works.
Alright, you take the other guy.
Alright, and of course, in the top left-hand corner of Belshire Vestige LE, our teal Terran player, also playing for Sniped, he is ENerVaTe. ENerVaTe.
ENerVaTe?
ENerVaTe, maybe.
No, that.
I was just kind of going with the capitals as like the syllables, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If we do that with MeyvN, I don't know how you capitalize N at the end of a word. But yeah, right. Alright. We have MeyvN, who went for a pull first, and his opponent, ENerVaTe, built a barracks first, is going to put a Reaper out of that, and at the back of that is building that command center on the low ground. So, confident that his Reaper can hold the Zerglings of his opponent at bay. Now, first of all, what are we doing on Belshire Vestige? I mean, this is a custom game, so they could have just picked this. But is this part of the new map pool, and have I just not seen this one yet?
It is part of the new map
pool.
Oh,
bloody hell.
It's another old map that got pulled into Legacy of the Void with, like, smaller mineral patches or whatever. The whole deal is with that.
Alright, well, and this is exactly the issue which we do have. If you build at a CC on the low ground, then you can, get a delay of what? 15, 20, is he sending down something else to start building that? 15, 20, 30, 40, a long ass fucking time.
As well as costing him that SCV, so that's another extra 50 minerals down the drain as well for that.
Almost let that Zergling into the main base as well. Now, of course, due to the locations of that... oh, no, he didn't see that. He just saw the tech lab. So, no, by this timing, it's not yet a Stargate. It's not, Banshees coming in with a stim. This is a 2-2-2-2. This is a 2-1-1 build, or at least an attempt of a 2-1-1 build. I'm sure that the delay on that natural command center will actually make it that ENerVaTe is not going to hit his timings on that as he expected.
Absolutely, MeyvN going through and taking a decently fast third, not unheard of in that speed, but faster than I believe we normally see in this matchup. A lot taking advantage of that delay he got there.
And we got the Reaper at the natural base doing a very good job. Like, he killed 2 Zerglings right there, and that is the 3rd or 4th creep tumor he has denied. With speed of coming down, he does have to get on out of there, and now we have a little bit of tango coming back and forth.
Is he gonna make it? He has 3 health. The combat droids kick in. He has 1 health. No, the Reaper goes down. I was hoping he could micro his way out of that, but...
Nope,
oh, well.
Not quite, unfortunately. So, yep, just coming on in there with a Overlord, making sure that it is indeed what he thinks it is. Or if he didn't think 2-1-1 before, because, as mentioned, he couldn't quite see what those buildings were with the tech lab. Oh, that was a very nice, what do you call those again?
Run by those lings up there, using the diversion that the Overlord created there, forcing him to pull off those Marines to poke a few lings in there. But ENerVaTe was pretty quick on it and didn't take too much damage.
No, it was an idiot magnet. That was the word I was looking for. Also sometimes called, you know, the very easy to snipe Overlord and or Medevac with absolutely no units behind the bushes right there. Don't worry about it. Come on in. Although that's, you know, the official title. And idiots, you know, bait rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. ENerVaTe going into that third base and MeyvN not in position to deal with it.
Yeah, those Marines moving in here are going to stem. Do almost get one queen. Do end up taking all three of those queens out. They do transfuse one, try and survive as long as they can, but the Zerglings are here to take out a good chunk of those Marines. They load up into the medevac and do decide to fly on out of there.
With 4 queens going on down, I'd say that's quite a useful trade on 8 Marines versus 4 queens. I mean, when it comes to Marines, that or with minerals, that pretty much equals out. But the delay you get in creep spread or injects there, that is worth quite a bit more. And MeyvN didn't get a chance to focus fire the medevac, so all of those are still in fine form.
And they are now moving in towards the main base, as well as a Liberator here to cover those Marines from any attacks by those Queens. But the Queens are moving in. They are going to focus fire the Liberator. They have a good angle, and along with the Zerglings, those medevacs are going to be forced to pick up and try and get out of there. But they are not done quite yet. Liberators sieging up, Marines being unloaded on in here, gonna take out 1 queen, gonna take out 2 queens, and a handful of Zerglings to boot.
Yep, that's a move with the Liberator, making sure that there's a completely safe beachhead for those Marines to unload right there. Oh, that 1 queen going a little bit too close. Let's see if we can get some more. All those Marines focusing down the queen. Nope. Does live with a very healthy 3 hit points.
And it looks like they are going to be able to take out the remaining Liberator here as well, depending on where it goes.
Does seem to be queued up, and that's not the best way to do it. MeyvN very much on point with his macro. Got the 4th base coming on in at the same time.
Definitely, as well as a big cloud, or chunk, rather, of Zerglings on his opponent's side of the map, seeing that there is still no third, and realizing his massive economic lead at this point.
Yeah, there's a third, of course, all the way complete in ENerVaTe's main base. And we'll see whether he moves it down. No, he moves it across to the more traditional third location as well. But if he were to choose and do that, MeyvN did have a Zergling in position. Finally building that Baneling nest, because at this point those Marines get to be in the numbers that is quite worrying if you're dealing with just Zergling, especially if you're backing it up with 8 Widow Mines.
Definitely. The Widow Mine count is pretty scary right now. 7 on the ground, 1 more on the way. Armory also up to maybe get upgrades, maybe something else. We will see. He can produce Hellbats, but it looks like it will just be Widow Mines. Meanwhile, very many Marines moving in, taking out the complete force base, as well as Widow Mines moving up, sieging up, going to try and get some shots off on these Zerglings. A couple of shots are going to be wasted on these Overlords and on the Marines. Zerglings moving in, and with the help of that Overseer, does look like they are going to be able to clean all of this up.
With all the Banelings, ENerVaTe doesn't want to keep around, does move back eventually, but those Widow Mines took a hell of a toll, and they're not done yet because there's one here. It's not going to kill a queen, a little bit too many hit points there, but does do get it shot off. And now we don't quite have enough Marines left on the side of ENerVaTe to keep challenging MeyvN, and he pulls up, leaving 2 Marines behind to a terrible, terrible fate of nibbling to death by Zerglings.
Yeah,
Yep.
we are seeing upgrades finishing up. 1-1 is finished up. 2-2 is on the way for both players. Centrifugal hooks getting pretty close to finishing as well. That's a very important upgrade for these banelings, so they can chase those marines on creep, and off creep for that matter as well.
Yeah, we've got a
And
little
getting
bit
the
of
kills
a
going.
run base setting up over on the right side of the map, as the majority of the army of MeyvN is in position to answer that poke of ENerVaTe on the left hand side. And here we go.
Yep, we do have Marines being dropped down here on the bottom left. Zerglings are going to clean that up. They are going to snipe an Overlord, though. Also clearing up the Zergling scouting on the base. But Banelings are rolling in. They're going to get a lot of SCVs over by the third of ENerVaTe. But a very well-placed bunker is going to be able to kill a good chunk of those guys, as well as some supply depots, zoning them out.
We now finally have some mobile anti-air on the side of MeyvN, so those corruptors are going to finally be able to make sure that ENerVaTe doesn't just pick up and fly away whenever there's too many Zerglings about. He may now actually have to, dedicate a couple of Marines to make sure that those medevacts don't just get pounded down by the corruptors. Now we have two armies passing each other into the night as MeyvN moves on to the top right hand side, and ENerVaTe is going to strike at that fourth once again.
Yeah, those Liberators and Widowmine sieging up, so a lot of spacing going down here for ENerVaTe, but it doesn't matter because the Zerg is not even over there. It is all running into his own third base, gonna try and take out a lot of SCVs here. Those SCVs are all trapped to the attacks of these Zerglings. Command Center is gonna lift off and fly away. Meanwhile, the base, the force base of MeyvN is down. Drones being pulled off the line. Very, very successful attack from ENerVaTe. Lots and lots of Banelings rolling in, but the Marines are splitting, and it may be a little too much.
Very, very few Marines left over on this side of the map, and that gets cleaned up just fine. And over on the top right, MeyvN made sure that a lot of SCVs died right there. So all of 29 killed versus 5 on the side of ENerVaTe, and MeyvN even evacuated all of those drones to his new fourth base, which is almost done on the right middle side of the map. So very nicely done by MeyvN right there. Both did a little bit of damage, but MeyvN definitely coming out ahead there. And a new run by over on the top right, a lot better position on ENerVaTe to deal with that this time.
And the Marines and Widowmines being in there, gonna take out pretty much all of the Zerglings, as well as a good chunk of Corruptors.
MeyvN commenting on his action there that was bad, and I can't really disagree with him there. Well, Zerg, of course, devastating when catching your opponent out of position, but with the Marines right there in the high ground, and with those Widowmines on the back of that, that was no way for MeyvN to attack into anything. And now ENerVaTe's going to try and pressure once again.
The scan going down, Widowmines being set up to prevent any chasing down by the Zerg forces. Looks like they are going to be firing mostly at those Corruptors though, and not at the Zerglings, but the Marines are split and taking out as much Zerg as they possibly can. Very successful attack going on down here. Not enough Zerglings at all being rallied in to fight this off. Queens being pulled off of their hatcheries. It looks like this may be the final march of ENerVaTe into the Zerg base.
Yep. GG is cold, and ENerVaTe takes that game.